This was just months ago.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence announcing today that he stands behind Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz.
Things have changed.
Donald Trump has the right vision for America.
We now know when Trump will make his pick for VP, but will it be Pence? Also tonight,
A suspect charged in a 3-year-old cold case.
The victim's 5-year-old son asks when he'll see his mommy again. I'm Veronica Jean-Seltzer. Why her suspected killer is already behind bars.
and a local warning about Pokemon Go, where you shouldn't go in Michiana if you want to avoid danger. The news starts right now.
This is Fox 28 News at 10.
Good evening. A lot to get to tonight. I'm Tom Powell.
And I'm Farron Franzek. Now, we've had some severe weather passing through Michiana earlier this evening, but will there be any more?
Here's Chief Meteorologist John Fisher with the answer.
Well, guys, I suspect not. Here's the deal, all right? This goes back to about 4 o'clock or so this afternoon. You can see the showers kind of here and there, and then they kind of thicken up. And watch, you'll see the reds and the yellows and the oranges go through. Those are severe thunderstorms earlier. But look now, nothing. Little bit of yellow, maybe a couple of heavier spots of rain, where you see the yellow spots there in LaPorte County, a little bit in St. Joe County. Maybe a rumble of thunder, but all this is now basically green, basically just run-of-the-mill showers, some heavy here and there. It looks like most of the severe weather is out of here. Now, technically, the National Weather Service still has a severe thunderstorm watch for Berrien, Cass, St. Joe, Elkhart, LaGrange, and Noble counties until 1 o'clock. I suspect they'll be dropping that shortly, but we still have it there again for those 6 counties until 1 o'clock. At any rate, it's all out of here overnight tonight. By the time you're up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's all gone. Clouds still hanging around, a little bit of blue sky as well. Overnight low 71 degrees. Looks like this will all give way to nice sunshine, but not to worry. There is a little more rain on the way, and I'll have details on that in just a couple minutes.
Breaking news out of Berrien County tonight. The deputy who was shot but survived during Monday's courthouse shooting has been released from the hospital.
That's right. The Berrien County Sheriff's Department released a statement late tonight saying Deputy James Atterbury has been released and is recovering from his injuries. It is the final update, they say, that they'll give until a news conference that's scheduled for a week from today. We are also learning more tonight about the suspect in Monday's tragedy.
Yeah, police say inmate Larry Gordon grabbed Deputy Atterbury's gun and opened fire, hitting Atterbury and killing 2 bailiffs. Prosecutors now telling us Gordon was facing 62 years in prison for kidnapping and sexual conduct charges. We're told Gordon was caught in Coloma holding a 17-year-old girl inside a shed for 2 weeks. He's accused of strangling the victim, raping her multiple times, and giving her meth in exchange for sex. He also allegedly recorded the abuse. Gordon, who was shot and killed by authorities, also has felony convictions on his record for possession of a pipe bomb.
I'm narrowing it down. I mean, I'm at 3, potentially 4, but in my own mind, I probably am thinking about 2.
Well, we will know soon whether Mike Pence will be Donald Trump's running mate. How do we know that? Well, new tonight, Trump tweeted within the past hour that he will announce his VP pick on Friday at 11 a.m. in New York City.
Today, Indiana's governor and his family hosted Trump for breakfast at the governor's mansion. Fox's John Roberts breaks down in detail exactly what Governor Pence could bring to a Trump ticket.
Mike Pence has the sort of political pedigree that Donald Trump could surely use. 4 years as governor of Indiana, 12 as a congressman, he knows his way around government. A favorite among movement conservatives, Pence gives Trump plenty of cover on the right.
A good communicator, believes in the fundamental principles that I think the Republican Party are about and the principles that made our country special.
As governor, Pence signed the state's religious freedom law, then to the chagrin of conservatives, made changes to quell a firestorm of criticism. He also signed new abortion restrictions, part of a long history of pro-life positions. In Congress, he voted against bailouts for Wall Street and the auto industry and supported tax cuts and a balanced budget amendment. He voted for the Iraq War, but against setting a date for withdrawal. He opposes same-sex marriage and civil unions, and in 2014 pulled Indiana out of Common Core.
I've got folks back home who call me and tell me, look, I'm a conservative and I can't vote for Trump for X, Y, Z. I try and convince them that it's still better than Clinton. Mike Pence might actually get them across the finish line.
But his record, particularly on gay and lesbian issues, has Democrats honing their steel in the event Pence gets picked, pointing out he's facing a tough battle for re-election at home.
What he did in Indiana was so offensive to the LGBT community and it so backfired in his own state that I think one of the things you're seeing here, John, is that Mike Pence wants to be picked as Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate because he's in such deep water politically at home.
In fact, it's a real question whether Pence could win a second term. A May poll showed him just 4 points ahead of Democrat John Gregg. His approval rating was also underwater. And conservatives who oppose Trump say picking Pence won't change their mind about not voting for the nominee.
I think Mike Pence is probably the most credible choice that Trump could go with, but I don't think that it's someone that Trump will actually listen to. I mean, Donald Trump at this point, short of picking Jesus Christ, I'm not sure who he could pick that I would suddenly support him.
One way or another, we'll know by Friday if Pence is the choice. Under Indiana law, he can't run for governor and vice president at the same time and must let the state know by the end of the week what he intends to do. In Chicago, John Roberts, Fox News.
Now, you'll remember it wasn't that long ago before the Religious Freedom Restoration Act controversy erupted that Governor Pence was considered among possible presidential candidates. Well, a former Indiana governor and U.S. senator will run to reclaim his old Senate seat.
That's right. Evan Bayh announced his comeback today. His return will give the Democrats a chance to win the post vacated by Republican Senator Dan Coats, who is retiring. Bayh will face U.S. Representative Todd Young in November. Well, still more to come tonight on the political front. Fox 28 asked you, the viewer, for your opinion today. Who will be Trump's vice presidential pick? Does Pence stand a chance against Newt Gingrich and Governor Chris Christie? Stay with us for the answer coming up in Primetime Politics.
The coward that tried to break me and my brothers and sisters, your hate made us stronger.
That is Emily Thompson at the Dallas funeral service today for her husband, DART officer Brent Thompson, who died last week when a gunman who acted alone shot and killed 5 police officers during a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest. 2 other officers who were shot were also laid to rest today in Dallas.
Sergeant Michael Smith was an Army Ranger and devoted family man with 2 daughters. Senior Corporal Lauren Ahrens was also buried today. His friends described him as a dedicated professional who always wore a smile on his face. Officer Thompson was married just 2 weeks ago to his wife, who is a fellow transit officer.
Tuesday, June 21st, 2016, was one of the happiest days of my life. I married the most amazing, caring, loving, selfless man I've ever known.
The 2 other officers killed last Thursday will be laid to rest later this week. 2 officers who survived that attack talked about their experience today. Corporal Brian Shaw and Officer John Abbott described what unraveled the night their fellow officers went down. Shaw was hit by gunfire from the shooter who was holed up in the college.
DART officer Brent Thompson is a friend of mine. Tried to perform any medical aid I could on him at that point, but he was pretty much gone. We loaded him in a vehicle. He was evacuated from the scene.
I hope that we were able to do about getting to the Lamar side entrance and him firing on us. It took his attention off of someone else.
President Obama spoke at a memorial service for the fallen officers yesterday down in Dallas, urging the country to unite in a time of difficulty.
Well, police in Indianapolis say a man shot up an officer's home and car on Tuesday. Police say surveillance cameras caught 27-year-old March Ratney shooting 17 rounds into a police car and home. Police say Ratney was released on parole last month, screamed he hated the police, and was wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
Think about this. This is your home. If there's one place in the world you should always feel safe and your family should feel safe, it's at your home.
The officer and his family were not harmed. An update on a story we have been following closely.
The South Bend Diversity Report is expected to be released on Friday. Mayor Pete Buttigieg appointed Christina Brooks as the city's new diversity officer earlier this year to develop a plan to make the city's workforce more diverse. We will have a full report Friday once the report is released. An update on a Fox 28 investigation now. Joy Phillips, the South Bend police officer who filed a federal sex discrimination suit against the city and former police chief Ron Teachman, has resigned. Phillips had been on paid leave as a result of disciplinary charges. She says she will be sworn in as an Elkhart officer later this month.
A South Bend teenager already behind bars for murder has just been charged with a second murder. Jermaine Munn would have been just 15 years old when he's accused of shooting and killing Jarena Bailey, a young mother. Fox 28's Veronica Jean Seltzer has new developments tonight in this now 3-year-old cold case.
Jarena Bailey was a 20-year-old mother of 2.
There's your mom.
Her life tragically cut short at this car wash almost 3 years ago.
She was a social butterfly. She loved everybody. She loved different types of people.
Ishania Walls is Bailey's son's grandmother.
Jarena was known for her smile, and he has that same smile.
After years spent fighting for justice, Bailey's family says they're relieved Jermaine Munn has finally been charged. These court documents say Munn and Bailey were at the car wash when 2 rival gangs started arguing. Shots were fired.
In the affidavit, witnesses say Munn told them he meant to shoot someone else and shot Bailey by accident.
When you shoot into a crowd, it's whoever you murder, it's not an accident.
Other witnesses in here say Munn told them he shot first and Bailey was his body.
In other words, the victim's family members believe Munn was bragging about the murder.
He was proud.
You may recognize Munn's name. That's because he's already behind bars for murdering popular Clay High student Nathan Hall.
Him receiving the 65 years in Nathan Hall's murder, it just made us feel more positive that we would receive the same type of justice.
Walls says Bailey's family will be there for every day of the trial.
Just wanna, see her again.
Her son, Jayron, says he sees his mom in his dreams. The mom he can now only kiss through a photograph. In South Bend, Veronica Jean Seltzer, Fox 28 News.
Now, Jayron's grandma says when she told him that police caught the man who allegedly killed his mother, he looked at her and asked if that meant that she'd now come back.
Two Marines in California make a disturbing discovery and help catch an attempted murder suspect while playing Pokemon Go. Now, they said that they were playing the game in a park when they noticed a suspicious man approaching multiple women and children. One family even ran away from the man, but that didn't stop him from approaching others.
We see a gentleman go and approach him again. At this point, me and my roommate start walking across the street. The gentleman walks up and actually touches one of the children. One of the boys from his toe starts walking his way up to the knee. Okay, at this point, I'm running across the street.
Now, the man was arrested for child annoyance, and that's when officers discovered he had a warrant for attempted murder.
All right, so we're finally going to talk about this. We're going to delve deep into this trend. Farron.
Wait, what is it? Oh, sorry. I was catching a Pokemon. But yeah, we received.
There was one in here.
There was, yeah. Not after receiving word from 2 local agencies, though, about places where you should be extra careful when you're trying to catch Pikachu. Fox 28's Neil Hedlund is in the studio with more on the hot new app and a pair of warnings about staying out of trouble. Neil.
The folks at the Potawatomi Zoo are glad kids are getting into the game. They just want them to be aware of the fences and gates around the exhibits. And Indiana Michigan Power says stay away from transformers and substations. The folks I talked with tonight are staying safe and having a lot of fun. The Mishawaka Riverwalk draws out a crowd of people distracted by their smartphones. But their phones are what brought them out here.
Going up to this church here. What church is it? I can tell you, it'll tell me the name if I click on it. St. Monica Church. It is also a Pokestop.
The Riverwalk, and the rest of the world for that matter, are all part of the Pokemon world. And Pokemon trainers are getting outside to catch them all.
Okay, there's a Tauros here. I can give it these raspberries. It'll make them easier to catch. Then you just fling the Pokeball at them. And then I caught it. Pokemon Go has been doing more than just getting people outside. It's been bringing the community together. There's a bunch of people out here wandering the park who would probably be sitting at home if they weren't here. And then it's giving a reason for these people to talk to each other.
Strangers walking in parks stop and chat with each other.
You can miss, like I just missed with the Pokeball, which is really obnoxious.
I agree. I just missed like 4 times.
A shared experience, even if it's still a competition.
No.
What team are you on?
Mystic. What team are you? Don't tell me you're Valor. No, get out, go.
It's competitive if you're not on the same team. Then it's kind of competitive.
Pokemon trainers have even started their own Twitter page to meet up and catch Pokemon. Just follow @SouthBendPoke on Twitter.
All right, thanks, Dale.
Well, in presidential politics, it all comes down to the swing states.
And tonight there is new polling showing who is ahead in those crucial states. Is it Trump or Clinton?
Plus, in the market for a high-end purse or a new pair of shoes, well, how you can help rescue animals and step up your fashion game at the same time. Hey, John.
Yeah, we've had some severe weather around here in Michiana earlier this evening. I'll let you know if any more is on the way. And speaking of more, we have a lot more money in our FOX28 guarantee, a 5-degree guarantee. I'll tell you how much money's in there, and we'll see if we add any more to it tonight. Be watching at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 28 News at 10 with Farron Franzak, Tom Powell, Chief Meteorologist John Fisher, and Sports Director Dean Hubbard.